Welcome to the Hot Rod Hangout podcast.
Whoop, whoop.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Ashley.
And tonight we got a special guest in the house, Travis Summers, better known as Simple.C10. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. This is a great opportunity.
Man, we've been following you and I love your builds, but we'll get into those later. So kind of what got you started with this, all this stuff, man?
I've always been into trucks since I was 16, first getting my license. I was big into the mini truck scene. I had a S10. I body dropped it following a forum online and got welder's eye like 3 times because I would just kind of do, the shielding with my hand kind of thing. And I just loved them on the ground. There's a big show here in Lebanon called the Slammin' and Jammin'. It was like one of the biggest shows in the mini truck culture, and it was just really cool, very inspirational to my life. And right after high school, I just got in a bunch of trouble and drugs, and everything took me away from really focusing my life on things that I love to do. But now, for the past 4 years, I got back into trucks, just really fell in love with them, following Nick Hester's page and just seeing what he's doing with these first generation C10s. And I've always been a Chevy guy. So what he was doing, I was looking at it and I was like, I think, the way he's laying it out, it's pretty simple. And I think, from the beginning, that's where the Simple name, I started thinking about it. It's like, man, somebody needs to show people how to do this the same way Hester's doing it, but maybe go into a little bit more in depth, So after I started building my first truck and I bagged it and, posted it for sale and it sold, and I'm like, oh man, there might be a little money to this too. So one build would fuel to the next build, and really I had the idea for Simple.C10 for a while, and I was just going back and forth. I was like, I've never edited YouTube videos, and one day I just got out there, I turned my phone, I set up my iPhone and just started recording. I'm like, hey guys, I'm going to show you how to bag the front of a C10. Maybe it helps somebody. And my first comment ever on a YouTube video was, dude, turn your phone, because I was recording vertically, not landscape. So I was like, okay, gotcha. I turned my phone and the rest is history.
Yeah, that is awesome. Yeah, I've been following you for a while, and then when me and Ashley met, she kind of started following along because of that. And she's a big fan of the first gen C10s as well, so kind of fit. And you've kind of, like I said before the podcast, you've basically given the recipe. You're generous enough to be like, hey, this is what you can do, and these are the steps you can take. And the car community in general needs more people that are willing to give that, advice.
I'm very thankful and blessed to have the mind to kind of put my thoughts onto paper like that and record the videos. And even though, I'm from Tennessee, I've got a, Southern accent, and I hate my voice sometimes. And I had to push all that anxiety and stuff to the side and say, you know what? My heart has always been to help people. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I always like to guide people and to show them the steps and really just, make an impact on their life. And this is a way that really just encourage the community. That's the vision of Simple.C10, is to encourage and empower the C10 community by offering parts, resources, and do-it-yourself videos. So even the vision is simple. It's to empower and encourage people. And I think it does that. When people watch the videos and they buy an old truck and they start following step by step, and they buy the parts from me, and they reach out and Facebook message me, Instagram, text me, whatever, like, hey, did I install this right? And it's really cool community. It's a joy to see people actually build a truck when they had never had any experience doing it. And some of the builds are way better than mine. And now I'm jealous. I'm like, dang it, you're outbuild me. But I think that's what you hope as a leader, is like one day somebody out building your stuff that followed you. So it's a really cool thing. I never thought I would be in the spot that I'm in, and I don't really sometimes grasp the impact that I have, because I'm just a dad. I'm, hanging out in the garage building trucks, and most of the time I'm by myself recording videos, so it's cool to go around and people be, saying things and stuff like that, but it's pretty neat.
Yeah, the podcast that kind of helped us get started, we were talking one night after the podcast, and we're still in our first year, and he's like, man, the first time somebody comes up to you somewhere and is like, hey, are you? And you're gonna like, it's gonna be a moment, and I'm like, man, that's never gonna happen. Kind of like you said, you don't really realize that people actually do listen, and the voice thing, and Ashley's real shy and she don't talk, but the whoop whoop has become like her little thing. And we do cruise-ins, and people are bigger car clubs are starting to hear about it, and it's like, and it's so awesome just to, because that's kind of what we were trying to do, is bring everything together. We have a 54, and I'm putting together a Model A. We had this last month's cruise, we had mini trucks, lifted trucks, and then a bunch of old, the older generation with their classic cars. And it was just kind of awesome to see. And that was one reason why when Ashley said you were going to come on and we were going to get a chance to talk, I was super excited, because it's like you're doing the same thing, and it's all about just growing, giving knowledge.
My whole kind of hashtag thing is community built trucks, right? Mm-hmm. So my vision is to bring the companies together with the people, and then me making the videos. And really, as a community, we're coming together and building trucks. It's not just you're not in this alone. We're here to support each other. I'm big into supporting small businesses. All the parts on my website are majority from small businesses, GMSS, VeloWorks, 10-man fabs, a lot of the Air Slam It, when, they were smaller when I started 4 years ago, and now, they're one of the biggest air ride companies. But I just love to be able to have that type of community, to be able to call those people and, thank them for the partnerships. And, I've really been able to partner with a lot of people to get parts for the truck. I couldn't build as many trucks as I do without those relationships. And that's what it's all about is, they're not just giving me free stuff. I'm putting in the work, making videos and that kind of stuff. Ashley, you had mentioned she edits this, and, there's a lot of work that goes into that, but yeah, I love it. It's fun. But yeah, it's all about the community aspect. Doing the videos and everything's fun, but when I get to go to the shows and connect with people and go around and look at people's vehicles and see the parts that they bought from me on the vehicles, and occasionally seeing a Simple.C10 sticker on the back of a window, it's pretty neat. It's really cool. I never wanted to be a celebrity or anything like that. That's not. I want the focus to be on the builds and encouraging people. That's why I say I'm not an entertainer on my videos. I'm just straight and to the point. I want to show you, how to build the trucks. Mm-hmm. The guys from, Vice Grip and Puddin', and they're great entertainers, really funny guys. All I have is dad jokes and puns, and I'll say those in person, but people just want to get to, how do I do this, man? Cut out the crap and show me how to install these bags. Mm-hmm. And I try to focus on that, focus what I'm good at, and, try to help people with it.
And I like the fact that in your videos, there's more expensive options, but you also show the cheaper option. Yes, you can put blocks on it, or you can put trailing arms. You give an alternative to the guy that's in a garage that, may not be able to scrape up enough money to do it fully first, or don't even know if he's going to like it that way. So,
well, that's where I was at. When I first started, I didn't have any partnerships or whatever. I got what I could afford. So doing stuff the way Hester did with the blocks and the cup lowers and disc brakes, like for $4,000 or $5,000, you could put together everything that you needed to get these trucks really close to laying out. And then once I started doing that after my second or third one, then I'm like, you know what? I think I have enough footage of how to do it the budget way. Now let me start to kind of up my game to the next level, because that's what we do. We will expend a little bit more money on a better part. Like you can cut your transmission cross member, or your trailing arm cross member. You can cut it and weld in a loop and do it the budget way. Or, spend a little bit more money and have a really nice part to use that adjust, and you can run your exhaust through, and just gives you a lot more options, like you said. But as I continue to grow, I just want to have more and more options. My next build, the 60, the pig nose truck, I partner with Porterbuilt. So that's going to get a front and back half from Porterbuilt. So that's going to be kind of gaming up, moving up to kind of the upper echelon, not a full frame, but somebody might be able to save up enough money to do a drop member on the front, in 6 months, and then do a back half the next 6 months. So hopefully I'll have, no matter where you're at, whether you got a pocket of cash or you're on a tight budget, the range allows anybody to do whatever you want and see the options. And whenever I get the expensive stuff on there, I'll be honest. I'm like, hey, I spent $3,000 on a drop member, but I think I would have been better off just cupping the lowers.
Yeah.
So give my honest feedback with that. I won't try to upsell somebody on something that really isn't worth it. It's like when people ask me about trailing arms. TenWorks trailing arms look awesome. I mean, they're sick, but reality is you can use your factory trailing arms. There's really no upgrade besides a small adjustment. That's $700. Save it.
Yeah.
I tell people, if TenWorks wouldn't have gave me those to use, I wouldn't have bought them. That's just me being honest.
Yeah,
I don't have $700 laying around. I'm out here grinding for every dollar.
Mm-hmm. And correct me if I'm wrong, but 60 to 62, the only way to get the front end to be, you either have to do a suspension swap or go full on front half, right? Like a drop member?
Well, hey, I'm glad you mentioned that because that's the newest thing on the website. I've got a 60 to 62 guide. So everybody, once they saw I had that 60, they were just, chomping at the bit of how to do these trucks because they've got the torsion bar front end, they've got the X frame in the back. Everything's different about them, everything besides the trailing arms and cools. So in the front, you'll read on the 60 to 62 guide that's on the website that there's actually 3 options. VeloWorks offers a torsion bar delete kit that basically the lower control arm is hollow on a torsion bar truck, kind of like a tubular A-arm. So the VeloWorks kit welds in a bottom bracket that allows you to weld in a cup to it. So it turns it into basically a cup lower.
Okay.
You mount the upper bag bracket and you can lay it out. The second option is that 73 to 87 cross member. You can do that and you just have to drill a hole and then you got to change out some of your brake parts and steering or do a drop member. Drop member is the easiest. You just take out your old cross member, bolt that one up and you're ready to go. But yeah, there's a couple options in there.
Awesome. We'll have to check that out because I've been making Ashley stay away from those.
Hey, I stay away from them. I've had 10 trucks now. 9 of them have been, 8 of them have been 63 to 66, and I've had the 169. Same frame though, exact same parts. So it's nothing changed. So when I saw that pig nose truck, it was straight as an arrow, and it's like, man, everybody keeps talking about like how hard they are to do that. I'm just going to buy it and I'm going to figure it out. I knew VeloWorks had the torsion bar delete, so I already kind of had a plan. I was actually going to put coilovers on that truck through TenWorks at one time as well, and I've decided I don't think I'd be happy with it just being lowered. I've got to set it on the ground. If I'm going to have a drop member in the front, I want it to lay all the way out.
Yeah.
All my trucks have been about an inch from laying out the way that I bag them. So this one's going to sit on the ground.
There you go. So which truck got away? Whether you had an opportunity to buy something and you just couldn't put the deal together, or you seen it leaving on the trailer or driving out of the driveway and you were just like, man, I got to build another one.
So I haven't really ever got super attached to the trucks because I go through them so quick. In 4 years, 10 trucks. I haven't, but I think if people posted more of my old trucks, I would miss them. But thankfully, the 2 or 3 people that have bought my trucks don't post that much. But that original green step side Crockett, like that was the OG, the one that I first laid out, step side. I thought I always wanted a fleet side, but now I look back and I just really love the step sides, man. I think they look a little bit more retro and just, it's got a good look. So every time I see that green truck, I miss it. But I mean, the majority of people would say no association. That the gray, dark gray truck with the red interior that really blew up the channel and all that kind of stuff. I really liked that truck and it was awesome, but I don't know, it wasn't the one. So I had a great opportunity. I had like 35 in it and it sold for 79, and I couldn't pass up that deal because I was thinking of the future of, with this money, I can start this, it can become bigger, right? So it was more of a financial decision, but that's what allowed me to buy a couple trucks and buy parts and really launch this thing. If I'd have held on to it, I'd have had no money. That was before I was making any money from this. So I'd have just had a cool truck, and you would have got a million YouTube videos of me walking around it. Like, hey, let's do it.
Yeah, it's I like the step sides. Ashley likes the fleet sides.
Yeah.
But that green step side is my favorite truck that you've done. And I don't know if it has left Florida, but at one point in time it was down here. And
still there.
You know, like every other car guy who scrolls Facebook Marketplace endlessly, have the C10 search in the box, and literally that truck would pop up for, I think it was like a week 39. Or 2 weeks, and it would, bam, every time I'd open and I'm like, man, it would cost me my marriage, but I wonder if we could figure out a way to get it. Because
I'd get it back if you were driving it around, and she's like, dang. Maybe if it was a fleet side, she would forgive you.
Yeah,
but
she's kind of fallen.
I saw when it was for sale. I reached out to him whenever I was selling blue, the 69 blue step side LS swap truck. I'd reached out to him and I was gonna trade him if he threw me a little bit of boot, but we just couldn't work it out. He owns his own business, and I understood. But man, I've tried to get that truck back a few times. You know, I'll just be missing it and message him like, "Hey, how's Crockett? You know, he's doing good. You treating him good. Like, you know, make sure to drive him every now and then, and you know, so the lines don't rot out or anything." But I don't see how he drives it down there with no AC in it. After that truck, I started putting AC in everything.
Yeah, you kind of got to be committed. The 54, which is Michelangelo, which is the car that Ashley's going to end up with. It's currently our cruiser, but it's Ashley's. It doesn't have AC, and the Model A is only going to have a windshield, so no AC in it either. But
just roll the windows down.
Is it Michelangelo after the Ninja Turtles?
Yes.
Or after the actual?
He's orange and slow.
He's orange and slow. So as he was on the trailer, and we were bringing him home from Daytona, and I looked in the mirror and I'm like, Michelangelo's the orange Ninja Turtle. And she's like, I don't know. And I'm like, look it up. So she looked it up and I was like, yep, that's his name. And
you should put like an antenna that's the like 3 thing that, you know, because he's the one that had the.
Yeah.
No, he did nunchucks, didn't he?
Yeah, he had nunchucks.
Yeah, Raphael had the 3. I was big into Ninja Turtles, so I appreciate the name. It's good.
So, well, currently, what is the favorite truck you own?
Oh man, so here's my conundrum, I guess you would say. I posted Francis for sale for about 3 minutes and took it down because the way I'm looking at it, Francis, I don't think it's my dream truck, but it was everything I wanted in a truck. It was a 63. I love the knee knockers. I like that because Crockett was a knee knocker. I wanted a big back window, fleet side knee knocker, patina with a big bumper, and it checks all the boxes. It's got the vintage style LS in it, you know, AC, Dakota Digital, all the things. It's a great cruiser. I've put 2,000 miles on it this summer. It's the first truck that I've ever had that I've trusted to drive around the United States. Like I've been to Talladega, Illinois, Battle in Bama, like all the things. So I really love that truck because I can hop in it and just feel like I can go anywhere. Oliver can smack around on it, and it doesn't matter if it gets scratched up. But here's the thing. I love patina trucks. I love all that. But I love a good painted truck too. Like Lucky, when it's sitting in the driveway right now, just looking at it, real slick with the chrome wheels, and like it just looks so good. But they say shiny paint causes stress, right? So
Yes, we
when
do.
it's sitting there and I'm slinging transport wheels in the garage and everything, got to be super careful. And I do want to have it painted this winter. It already has a good paint job, but it has a few little flaking spots. So I was just going to get it all kind of resprayed. But I'm like, man, once I do that, I'm invested because it's not cheap.
Yeah.
But I do want like I guess you would say a show car, super slick, nice. But I don't know if I'd want to hold on to it. So I'm kind of back and forth. Yeah.
So unlimited budget. I'm pretty sure it'd be a C10, but unlimited budget, what would you build? What's the dream build?
Yeah, so I wish it's almost what Hester's truck is right now. It's a 59 Apache fleet side short bed. Obviously the vintage style LS in it. Nothing crazy. I'm a low and slow guy. I just like the dependability of an LS. So let it sound good. 6.0 maybe with a little bit more of aggressive cam than Francis has in it. Full blown in shiny interior, like a really nice painted interior with the seat and AC and the good gauges. Probably again, I don't know if I'd want it patina or painted. I don't know. I'd probably drive it more if it was patina, but I think my dream truck would more weigh toward a painted truck now. Like if it was a blue Apache fleet side 59, just real slick with all the chrome on it, real shiny, I think I'd be really happy with that. Porter-built frame, just a full frame. I'm cheating a little bit there, but you get a lot with the full frame, the turning radius and get the 4-inch driving height and all that kind of stuff, where the budget way you kind of get into the fenders a little bit more. And but yeah, I think that would be it. 22s, probably intro wheels or something. That's half the budget right there, those wheels.
Yeah, there's a 59. I don't know if it's still for sale, but there was a 59 close up by you that's like a flat blue that I was really...
Was it just factory color or like nothing done to it, or
no, it was
one that
it was on the ground.
Ooh, yeah.
And the dude didn't want real bad money on it, and I was like, man, because that's one of my dream trucks.
60, yeah. Once this winter, I'll be doing the 60. I'm pulling the cab and everything. I've never done that. But to put the front and back half on, you pretty much need it down to bare frame, and I want to powder coat the frame. I want to do it right. I keep trying to build a truck that I don't want to sell, right? One that I'm like, there's no way, So this 60 could be it. It's a really unique truck, but we'll see where I'm at with that because I can't have 3 done trucks. I've got to get rid of one to fund the next.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully, I'll probably end up selling Lucky, honestly. It would probably bring the most money because it is slick paint. It appeals to a wider range of people. I could probably get good money and I'll be able to invest that possibly in a 59. People, I keep hearing in my ear, do a square body. That's the main thing because that's where the frame changes. When you get to 73, then you've got leaf springs, you've got all that. And I think that would be the next, probably the best next move for me is to do a different year model so I could offer parts and stuff for that. But I don't know. I think once you start getting into squares, it doesn't seem as old, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
But
well, it kind of goes, the round style body, there's no such thing as them being newer, but square body went all the way to 87, and most people that's pretty close to their birth year, so they can pretty much say like, that's only 37 years old. That's not. Whereas the 60s trucks are kind of like, man, 60s are so far away, even though it's really only 20 years difference. It feels like.
It does, because I'm 38. I was born in 86, so I didn't see any of those first gens driving around. Those were all in somebody's barn, broke down, shoved in there. Everybody was driving square bodies. My grandpa had a square body. My dad did for a while. That was kind of, that was not when I was, that was probably 10 or 11. That's when the used, square bodies were used then, and you could buy them for a decent price. But I do like a good square laid out. I think it would be a good move as far as the channel and stuff. But I'm real picky. Like, I've got to find the perfect truck. If I bought a square body, I would want it a slick paint truck, because I don't think patina looks okay on a square, but I think it needs to be old for patina to be right. The 50s model, the 60s, up to 72, I think all those look fine. But then you need some slick paint stuff.
I'd agree, because a square body I feel looks better. And I'm not a shiny paint guy. Nothing in our yard has paint on it, cars-wise. The daily has slick paint, but square body I would say looks better painted. Just, they look better done. Or it looks more finished when it's painted, whereas patina from earlier ages, it kind of just looks like the hot rod, vintage look.
Well, I like the balance of having a patina truck, but then you pop the hood and everything's clean and neat under there, and then you open up the interior and there's just touches of new. I love that contrast when you pop a hood and it's all like really slick under there. I really like the kind of matte satin-ish paint that everybody's doing, the underhood stuff with the clean engine bay. I love that. I think that's what makes a patina truck look like a finished truck, because it's like, okay, I get it. The patina, they're leaving that, but really the chassis painted, the engine's new, this is a brand new truck and it looks old on the outside, basically. But I love that.
That was, and I don't know if you've heard of him, but Patina Code, we had him on, and he does 50s, like Apaches and stuff like that. And all of his trucks on the outside, his wife's truck's bare metal, kind of raw looking. All of his other trucks are kind of the patina, but then you open the door and it looks factory, like it just rolled off a showroom floor. And cleans up the engine bays and stuff like that, and it makes a huge difference. And that's kind of, even though we're not running a hood and sides on the Model A, that's kind of the theory on it, is the body's going to kind of look raunchy, but it's got a small block with, billet pulleys and a big blower belt system, even though it doesn't have a blower, because my pocketbook says I can't afford a blower. But, there's... I just dig that there's so much you can do to kind of set yourself apart where they don't look, even though you're doing similar stuff to every single truck, they all have their own little personality, their own kind of avenue that you took with them.
Yeah, I just kind of, like, people ask if I look for like a specific color. Whenever I go to buy something, I'm not looking for that. For lack of better terms, I let it speak to me. Like when I'm just scrolling, and then I'm quick about seeing a vision for a truck. I can look at it and know exactly what I would do to it. With Lucky, I knew whenever I saw that truck, I said, I just want to put chrome wheels on it. I don't want to do smoothies or transports or anything. I want something different. When that's not like me. But it was 5 lugs, so I didn't really have a choice with transports. They're 6, and I wasn't about to switch everything. But I think it come together. Wheels are something you can always change. But with Francis, really all the trucks, I just vision them with big wheels and slam to the ground, and then I let the other stuff just come to me. I try to incorporate colors in the interior, and like with Francis, the cream color inner fenders and that kind of stuff, just to make it a little bit different. But yeah, that's the fun part. I want trucks to have a different personality. I want them to be different. Kind of the air ride suspension and stuff is cookie cutter as far as I follow my own guide. I do all that. Is pretty much the same, but they all look different. Besides, people get No Association and Black Dice confused. Black Dice was Zach's truck. They were both like black with transport wheels. But I had red interior, and we built them one after the other. I helped him build that truck. So people are always like, man, Black Dice was my favorite truck. And I know they're talking about the other one, but I was like, the red interior was great. I just let them go with it. I used to correct everybody. I'm like, yeah, man, thank you so much.
Oh, and you also, your trucks have stories behind them, which is kind of what we go after. I talked about the first car show Ashley ever went to. First, somebody took a picture of our rusty crap coming in, and she like freaked because we're in a sea of shiny cars, and it's like they took a picture of us, and I'm like, yeah. And then we backed in, and everyone walking up, and my grandpa had that car. I took my wife to ice cream in that car. That's the stories, and you focus a lot on that too. With Francis and this, and other than No Association, you kind of you give the backstory of the truck, and I feel like that kind of connects the listener, the watcher, to the truck itself. Kind of invests them.
Yeah, that's naming the trucks is always it's not always been the most difficult thing. Francis came to me, just almost immediately. As soon as the truck pulled up, I just connected it to my friend Tyler. But Crockett was my dad's nickname, and I just, whenever that green color, I just imagined the raccoon tail and, just had that vibe to it. And, he had passed a year before that. So I was really he was on my mind he was a mechanic. That truck was one of the first one that I went all in on. And I figured he'd be like proud of it. He wasn't around to see me working on trucks. When he passed, I was big into woodworking. Then I saved up, $5,000 or $6,000 doing woodworking. That's when I bought my first C10, that long bed step side. And then when I got into it, I'm gonna name this truck Crockett. Just a cool name, green truck. I don't know, it just kind of fit.
All of the trucks though that you've had on the channel, when you pick them up and introduce them, just like this is because of this, and laying it down. I've always like I love Crockett, both of them, but it's kind of awesome to see that you're carrying on the previous owner's legacy, because at one point in time that was their bread and butter. They loved the truck, and you're modifying it, but instead of trying to delete the history, you're kind of trying to incorporate it and bring it with it. That's awesome.
That's cool. The red truck that I didn't finish that I sold, that I just mini notched it and everything. Do you remember that one called Flash?
Yes.
It was a big back window. It was my first big back window truck. I was super excited about it, but I paid $2,000 for it. And then I realized this thing has so much rust. I was just so excited. I saw the big back window and I just started throwing hundreds. And I was like, oh my gosh, what have I gotten into? I fixed the cab corners, and then like the floor was just out, and then around the top of the window, I didn't know at that time to like look for that, and it was rusted. And I got a lot of I got very anxious about it, and it didn't have an engine. So if something doesn't run and drive, I lose motivation. Like I bagged it, painted the frame, painted the thing, but I'd come to a point of like, I'm done with this truck. Like I'm just going to sell it. So sold it. But Stan Morlock, the guy that I bought Lucky from, he's the one that bought Flash, and he finished that truck. put a LS in it, fixed all the rust, painted the interior. So I was so glad that when he bought it, I knew Stan was going to finish it. That's just his motto. Like, he grinds on it. You know, we text each other a lot, and it's like, man, I'm glad, because I sold it to another guy, and that other guy texted me, is like, hey, I sold that truck to your buddy Stan. And I was like, yes, because the guy that originally bought it, I was like, I don't know if he's ever going to finish it. He kind of piddles, but nothing wrong with that. He, you know, has a family and stuff, but really excited to see that truck. It's running around all over now. I see it at shows, and again, I had no attachment to that. But going back to what you said, you know, it was Don Flash Curtis was the tag that was on the dash that was made with, I think, like one of those little machines that you punch in letters and print it out and like stuck up there. But when I bought it, the dude told me that was his brother that had passed, and you know, all that. And I was like, man, I'm gonna make sure, you know, this truck has a legacy, like you said. I wish I could have done it, but I'm glad that it ended up getting done, or I'd have been a liar probably.
Oh, and
no, it's cool. I still haven't named the new one, the 60. I'm going back and forth of a couple different names, but I don't know. I'm just waiting for it. I don't want to rush it. You know, I want it to come to me.
Yeah, it'll tell you when it's time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the Model A is a little further gone than we thought it was, because there's not much metal in a Model A anyway. It's mostly wood. Especially in the 29. So as we started taking interior panels out, I'm like, oh, that was hiding rust right there. Oh, yep, that's rusted. Oh, yeah, there's a panel that they pop riveted right there. You know, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
But that builds. I knew from the time it came home that it wasn't going to be it's going to lay on the ground and air ride in the front and rear, which we figured out why most Model A's don't have front air ride, because it's all hidden. They put cantilever on them, and that's easy, but, you know, we can't be easy, so we put it in the cross member, and it's like, and I understand with the whole not running thing, because it's like the motor's sitting there, and it's all part of it. So you mentioned shows. What's a show or event you try to make every year?
SCTN, Southeastern Truck Nationals. That's my favorite show. Brian does a great job running that show. He's good to me as far as vendor spots too. He's like, you just tell me how much you need. You know, like, he's a really great guy. And I just like the vibe of where it's at. It's at the Lebanon, Tennessee Fairgrounds. So there's a lot of green areas, different buildings, restrooms are good. It's better than the Speedway that we have most of the shows at. That's really, really hot. Couple weeks, there's a show coming up there, but that's the main one. Love that show. Just love the vibe of it. Really chill.
Is there a show that you haven't made that you'd like to make?
I'm going this year. Dino's Get Down in Arizona. I'm going to fly out there. I can't drive. I got with Robbie from United by Trucks. He wanted me to ride with him 3 8-hour day driving there. I'm like, you're crazy. There's no way. It'd be a cool story, but driving 3 days, 48 hours there and back for a day and a half show, like, no way. I'd rather fly there in 2 hours from Tennessee.
Yeah.
With my backpack, go record some stuff, meet some people, fly back after I'm done, and not take 2 weeks of PTO for a 1.5 day show, But maybe one day I'll drive out there. Maybe when I get the full Porterbuilt frame and I feel like I think Francis would make it, but I don't know. That's a lot of driving, man.
Yeah. Where there's a show the end of this month, and some people that came to our cruise in was like, hey, are y'all going to that? And I'm like, it's a little far for Michelangelo. So, and it's stuff that
messages. We got one this morning from all the shows that are in Texas, everybody's always asking me. There's C10s. I forgot what the name of the one that's going on right now.
C10s in the park. C10s.
Yeah.
And
there's C10s in the park, I believe. It's going on right now, but man, all those Texas shows, that's a little bit too far. Because I mean, it takes me over 4 hours to get to Memphis, and then that's like halfway point. So I'd love, all the Texas shows seem awesome. There's a great community down there, but just right now it's not going to work. And I don't have a trailer or anything to trailer anything, which I love to drive my stuff. But maybe if I had a trailer and I could get down there, I would, just to be able to go and not worry about, driving an old truck that far. But eventually, one day, I'll make a trip.
That's our thing is I'll put Michelangelo on a trailer. Like, we have Turkey Rod Run coming up in November, and he'll be on a trailer to go over there. But the show this month, it's like 8-10 cars going, and I'm like, yeah, no, I would drive. Like, I'm not gonna be the guy with a trailer behind y'all, so. And I'm like, no fuel gauge, no tack. Speedometer doesn't really work all the way. Like, we never really tested it in anything past like an hour and a half. It just, and
you got to do that in like. I remember I drove my truck around when it first got done. I usually always drive it to the church and I'll take some pictures. We are like in an old factory building and it looks kind of cool. I have some pictures, but it's about a 30-minute drive there and back. So that's the first kind of test. And then I'll drive it down to, there's a town called Bell Buckle that's about 45 minutes from here that has a cool flag on the background. You've probably seen some of my posts that have this big painted flag. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the second test that I can take. And if it breaks down, it's in the country, I'm not on a main highway and all that. But then, you just have to do it in little sections. But after that, I just drove it one day for about 5 hours. I just drove back roads, listened to music, kind of escape my thoughts and stuff. I was like, okay, I just drove it 5 hours, had no problems. Maybe I can take it somewhere now, because that's a pretty good test.
Yeah.
But it's always nerve-wracking with air ride and with anything, especially if you're going to a show day. It seems like everything wants to go wrong on a show day. You wake up, you turn the key, the battery's dead, and you're like, okay, I'll just, charge the battery up. And then you run out of gas on the way to the gas station. You're like, well, I should have filled it up. It's like everything goes wrong.
Yeah.
But that's part of the fun.
Well, we've owned Michelangelo for a little over a year, and about 6 months ago, I got the Model A. So all of the money has been going into the Model A build, and Michelangelo, it runs. So we don't really give it any attention. For its 1 year anniversary, we put some paint protectant on it. But we don't really know what we're going to do with the paint. So I didn't want to use like poppies or something like that was going to give us trouble if we wanted to take it off. So we gave it some attention, and then it's got a new zip tie holding the distributor in time. So it's like, let's not, take off for a, 4-hour one-way trip.
Yeah.
And, Saw Customs is putting the show on, and it's like, it would be awesome to go down there, awesome to meet people, be able to promote our show and stuff like that. But if we make it about halfway there and it breaks down, well, then now I got to try to figure out how to get a trailer to me. So it's just like, if it was by my...
Watch all of the, buddy garage stuff, and he's always breaking down. Like, I'm like, dude, you're trying to encourage people to go on these road trips. After watching all your videos, it makes me not want to drive my truck. Like, you go through so much. I feel so bad that he keeps coils for his dually, like in the glove box, multiple ones. But I hate being broke down. That's the only thing. Like, I've always wanted to invest in dependable vehicles for my daily, but I've just come to the realization with these old trucks, things happen.
Yeah.
And it's part of the journey. Don't drive it if you feel like you may have an emergency or like you're in a hurry.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to a show, I always leave out early, and it's always kind of like I don't want to be in a hurry that day. I want to be in everything but a hurry to get somewhere on a car show day. But yeah, it happens though.
Yeah, Ashley always jokes, is it Google, is it Apple Maps, or is it Michelangelo time? So you always add a little extra just because, I mean, stopping at a gas station because you don't have a fuel gauge, so you definitely don't want to run out. So you stop extra, and sometimes you pull up and you put $3 in it and it clicks off and you're like, oh, I had plenty. And then other times you pull up and you put 12 gallons in it and you're like, well, that's about the tank. So I'm glad I stopped.
You're going with time and stuff too, like not being in a hurry. I enjoy talking to people. When you go to, gas stations and stuff, people walk up all the time. Every time I stop somewhere, hey, I love your truck. This is so cool. I don't want to just be like, oh, thanks. So, I want to, engage with them and try to talk to them. I know that their cousin had one just like it. But it's cool. I like to connect with people. It's all about the relationship, and it's a way that brings people together. People that would never talk and to each other, having a truck or a car or whatever is just enough of a connection that strangers talk about their vehicles. It's a cool thing, but you've got to plan for that. You can't be in a hurry again.
Yeah.
You got to stop for gas, plan on talking to somebody, like slow it down, enjoy it,
and he's funny. His uncle had the exact one, except for it was blue and it was 4-wheel drive and didn't lay on the ground. And those are the funny ones. Like, makes me laugh inside. Oh yeah, I had a 54. I'm like, oh yeah, it was a Ford and it was a 4-door. But I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, yeah, and it was exactly like this. And I'm like, well, that's a Chevrolet, but okay, cool. Or
yeah, they're just trying to connect.
Yeah, or young kids that have never seen one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I like to explain stuff to people. People are genuinely curious. They don't understand air ride. You see it all the time on Facebook and stuff of like, what's the use in this? And I just try to explain it of like it's art. I wouldn't go up to an artist and be like, why did you paint it this way? Like art is for the artist to enjoy. And if other people happen to get some joy or inspired by it, then that's kind of the point. But if they don't, then there's no offense to it.
Oh, and that's, another thing with and you did win best comment. You do all your own Facebook and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
The person that said get it off the ground and you're like, well, I have air ride, that's why. You must be new around here. Like that was, I literally laughed out loud at work as it popped up and I was like, that's the whole point.
I was trying to be polite, but at the same time, like I see Air Slam it doing it all the time. People comment like negatively about air ride, but they're like, this is an air ride page. Why are you following an air ride page if you don't like air ride? It's like me. I'm a Chevrolet guy, but I follow a Ford page, and all my posts is like, why are y'all buying a Ford? It's like, bro, this is a Ford page. Why do you think we're buying one? That's kind of the thing that we're trying to do here.
So we talked about the YouTube channel. Tell us a little bit about the website.
Yeah, so really when I started doing videos and everything, and I was talking about all these parts, I would just point everybody to different websites. I said, hey, go to airslamit.com, find this, and then I get all these messages of, hey, I went on the site and I couldn't find it. There's so many options. Which one was it? So I reached out, and basically the website first was to sell some merch, and then I thought, man, I want a website to be kind of like the old forums was. I want it to not just sell parts and merch, but kind of be a resource center. And I'd actually started out, I had what is that called? A link in bio kind of website. and all it was a bunch of links, and I did an air ride guide, kind of a template there. Step 1, this, and I had a link to the website. And then I thought, I think the website could have my air ride guide. So I put the air ride guide on there with links to all the different places. But then I thought, man, I should be just selling the parts. So I reached out to every one of the partners that I currently had and said, hey, what does it look like for me to just sell your parts on my website? I've never done that, kind of be a dealer for you, because I feel like you may be losing some sales because people are pumped up watching the videos, going to the website, and then they get lost on what to buy. Said if I offer it, they can buy it right there, add to cart, purchase it. And that's kind of where it started. So I connected with all the different partners of all the things and got them added to the website. So it's kind of a hub of, you watch the videos, then you can go to the website, Simple.C10.co, read the air ride guide. It's got a shopping list at the top. You just click each item and then add it to the cart, and then that's it. And I've actually added some bundles now. So if you like Lucky and you're like, I want everything that you did to Lucky, you can add the Lucky bundle, and it adds every part that I put on Lucky, and you can check out. I've actually sold quite a bit of those bundles, but I've got one for like a basic bundle that's a budget. A few of the things that you need, none of the inner fenders or the fancy trailing arms, just the bare necessities. And just been adding more and more stuff. Basically, I just want it to be a one-stop shop for anything I talk about on my videos, to be at one place to make it easy to find. And it's done well. That's what's allowed me to, grow and just making a little bit of money off the parts. And it's exciting. I've always wanted to own my own business, and I like the, designing of the website. I do that. And I like the salesman aspect of just trying to help people, good customer service, just all the things. It's pretty fun to combine it all together, I guess you would say.
Cool. We'll make sure that we write that in the show notes so people can go check that out. I do have one controversial air ride question. Why did you pick Airlift over AccuAir?
So Airlift, well, here's the first thing. Air Slam it was part of their kit. It was part of their kit that they were offering, and it had Airlift controller. And it was the first thing. I actually did Level Ride first. I did Level Ride, and I actually liked Level Ride. The only thing I didn't like about it, which they fixed now, this was 4 years ago, was all the tees and everything for, like, every airline you had to tee off to go to another sensor, and it was just a whole thing on the back of Crockett. It had a brain box with lots of things in it. But then I said, I like air management, though. I like it on my phone. I like it on the controller. I've never been a super fan of all manual valves where you just have to hit a bunch of different things. I want to hit a button and be ready to go. And then I tried Airlift. It was kind of the next thing. I reached out to Travis from Air Slam It. I said, hey, man, what kind of kit can we put together for this truck? And tried it out. And I love the manifold. You plug in 5 lines and it's ready to go. 1 to the tank and 4 to the bags, and you plug it into your battery, and that's it. It very much fits my Simple brand. Anybody could do it. You don't have to run all the wires to all the different valves, and all that kind of stuff. Anybody that's installed manual valves, each valve has 2 wires, and then you have to run 2 lines and then another 1/4-inch line for your gauges, and it leaks, and it's rough. So Airlift was great. I've been kind of looking at AccuAir, and there was one truck that came into Zach's shop. It was Wilbur that Custom Trucks had built, and I love that truck. I looked at it, and it had AccuAir, and the first thing I noticed is there's not one pressure gauge on here. On the controller, there's nothing telling you what's going on. It blinks at you, but you don't know if you've got 80 pounds in the front left or 3 inches off the ground all around, it's just buttons. I think if they upgraded their controller to show the air pressures in each individual bag, it'd be a lifesaver. Because on Wilbur, it was sitting crooked, but we didn't know how much air to put in it by looking at the controller. You had to get out of the truck and look and measure and do all kinds of stuff. You can log on to their app on the phone, and all those options are there. So why not put that on your controller? I think there's some high-end builds with AccuAir for sure, but I think Airlift is starting to be just as well known of a name as AccuAir is. Especially they got bought out.
Are not about them.
Yeah. So I've heard good things. I see a lot of high-end builds that has it. I like to have the pressures. That's the main thing.
Yeah. You do or all of your trucks are 3P, right? Just pressure based.
Yeah. My new one will be 3H. I already reached out to Porterbuilt. They have some height sensor billet brackets that go on there. I'm going to try those out. They have the little things that connect to the tubular control arms for the height sensors. So I thought since I'm going down to the bare frame, why not install the height sensors, and I can tell people whether it's worth it or not. I like the 3P. I think it's just fine. Some people, it throws them off. Why do I have 80 pounds in the left and 75 in the right? I'm like, well, you're sitting in the truck.
Sitting in it.
It takes more, you're sitting in the truck, or it depends on if you've got 2 batteries sitting on the passenger side mounted to the side of the frame. You've got a turbo set up and your turbo's on the right side. The trucks aren't perfectly balanced.
Right.
So your air ride is making up for that. There's a few different tips that I give people on the 3P. Don't do axle equalization where it's trying to balance out both sides of the truck, because it's not going to be balanced. You're going to have to make it level. You're going to have more pressure in the driver's side the majority of the time. So there's a few little tricks that I think makes it work better. But there's a percentage, 3 to 5%, it can be off. You may set it to 85. It might go up to 83, but not enough to impact anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I was originally, I just recently found out about level ride, and so I was kind of going between the two, and it seems like everyone in the air ride space has their preference. It's AccuAir or nothing, and then you have airlift guys, and then I came across level ride, and I was like, well, shoot, that pretty much does everything that I need it to do, because I do want to do a height-based system. That way, if Ashley hops in it, she can hit the button, know that it's going to be ride height. It equalizes for if both of us are in it. It kind of takes a little bit less brain power to get rolling. And with no fenders, it's not like we're trying to jack it up to get the fenders over the tires to turn. So
I think the benefit definitely to height sensors is it's going by the height, right? The pressure, if you tell it that the ride height is 4 inches off the ground in the front and back, no matter who's in the truck or how the weight is thrown off, your height is going to be the same. Yeah. You don't have to adjust if you have a passenger or anything like that. So the end result of height is totally worth it, but getting height sensors set up, installing them on the frame, connecting them to your trailing arms, to the upper control arm, that's where the trickiness that takes somebody that has patience, that is willing to take the time to get it right. Because if you don't get the height sensors right, then
it doesn't matter.
it's worse than pressure.
Yeah.
It's not understanding how the heights are working. But once it's dialed in, there's nothing better. So I'm hoping I can get the 60 dialed in so I can be, right off the ground, know exactly how many inches it takes to not rub on 22s and all that. I'm excited about it. It's going to be a learning experience. But as far as simple stuff, like with the pressures, plugging those 5 lines in, running the 2 lines up to the battery and 2 wires to the compressors, and you're done. Like you can do it. The last truck I did an hour and a half, and I had the whole thing wired up. And I thought, anybody can do this. This is with height sensors. You'll probably spend an hour and a half on each wheel, just making sure that you get them right.
Yeah, make sure you got enough swing and everything.
Yeah, I think they're getting companies are coming up with those height sensor brackets and things to make it a lot easier than just trying to weld in a little arm that goes out and, trying to fabricate all your own bracketry for it. So we'll see. You may see me screaming at the camera like, I hate height sensors, 3P or die, like, I don't know.
So, well, baby, hit us with the dates.
Alrighty. So September, we're finishing off with the Third Friday Cruise-In on the 20th in downtown Inverness. The 21st, there's the September Cruise-In in Spanish Springs Town Square in the Villages. And on the 28th is Raw Fest Music Festival and Cars for a Cause at Flamingo Lake RV Resort in Jacksonville. So that's very exciting. In October 5th and 6th, we have Trash the Classics Rat and Rod's Car Show in Okeechobee County Fairgrounds. Then on the 6th, Sumter Swap Meet, of course, at Florida Classic Park in Brooksville. We have the Third Friday Cruise-In October 18th in downtown Inverness. The same weekend, October 19th and 20th, Slam Fest at Florida State Fairgrounds. Also, we'll be there the 19th, not the 20th, because the 20th we will be at our monthly hangout at the Cove. And the 26th, the Florida Drag Strip Riot Drag Race and Car Show at Orlando Speed World.
Make sure y'all tune in next week's podcast. We're having JT from Misfire to give you all the details on the Drag Strip Riot.
Oh, yes. And to not drown this out, November, we do have the Turkey Rod Run from the 28th to the 1st at Daytona International Speed World. And let's wrap up the dates with the Hangout January 4th at Don Garlett's Museum of Drag Racing. All vehicles are welcome. We're going to have food vendors, merch, raffles, 50-50 for the benefit of the Ryland Strong Network. Pre-register at hotrodhangout.com for $25. Day of is $30 cash. And pre-registered vehicles will receive a gift bag with goodies and merch. So we're very excited.
And we would like to personally invite you, if you want to come to Florida and get away from Tennessee for a little while in the winter, come down to Don Garlett's. It's our first show, and everyone is welcome, and a car show entry for everyone, including you. A car show entry gets you able to sell merch. So if you have a little tent you want to set up behind your truck, sling some merch, parts, whatever you can fit, It's just kind of a gathering. We're not doing top 30, no trophy hunters. We're literally just any sponsor that comes on wants to do a trophy, bring a trophy. It'll be their pick. That way I only have to be accountable for one. If you don't like my decision, then you can come talk to me. If you don't like somebody else's, go talk to them. And car clubs, make a trophy, bring it. So before we go through our list of sponsors, is there anyone that you would like to shout out?
Yeah, man. That's a hard thing because there's so many good ones, right? But I mean, I wouldn't be able to do any of this without the partners that I have, and the ones listed on my site right now. The ones that I, offer their parts are, of course, Air Slam. It's been a big support for me. GMSS, RS Restorations, my friend Zach over there, VelaWorks, Switch Suspensions has been great, and 10-Man Fab, and gosh, put me on the spot. I'm going to forget so many of them, but they all know I appreciate them. I tell them every time I talk to them, but that's a few. I only work with the best that are not only great parts, but that are really good people. I want to support good people and what they believe in, and that's part of the community. So thank you. Thank you guys for inviting me to this. It's been fun talking. I could sit here and talk trucks and cars and everything all day long. So maybe one day I can hit up Florida down there. I do have y'all here first. I went full time with this starting the 26th. So I've put in my notice at work, and I'll be full time Simple.C10, weekly videos, more information on the website, get to go to more car shows because I don't work the weekends anymore, but God has really blessed me with this, and I just want to take it to the next level and help out more people and keep doing what we're doing. So thank you guys for what you're doing as well. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, living the dream, really.
Yeah, I mean that's killer,
man. I'm nervous about it, but I'm excited. And again, all the support that I've received, watching the videos, buying the parts. You could buy the parts from the manufacturer, right? I don't offer them for the same price that they do, but everybody knows that helps me so much, and they've bought them from me, and I really appreciate that. And that's why I'm quick to always answer questions or feedback, and because I'm very appreciative of everything that everybody's done, and just more time to help more people and to make more videos. That's the main thing. Just want to keep building trucks and helping people.
That's awesome. Well, make sure y'all go check out BP Customs on Facebook.
Check out Throttle Addict using the code word Hot Rod. You get to save 15% off.
Also, Johnny Jalopy. You can check him out on Facebook, YouTube, JohnnyJalopy.com, and Johnny Jalopy Hot Rod Art.
Oh, yes. And the Cove, huge shout out to them for letting us crash their parking lot every month. Check them out on Facebook at the Cove Resort and Pub, or go to their website, thecovepubandgrub.com, for directions, menu, campsite, and lodging reservations.
And also remember that we are moving on up. We're moving to the big grass lot. We have outgrown their parking lot. So we appreciate everybody that comes out that's going to allow us to move over there.
Yes.
Make sure you go check out Low Income Clothing and Low Income Photo on Facebook and Instagram.
And check out Rat Rod's Woodfire Pizza on Facebook and their website, ratrodswoodfirepizza.com, for a menu and to book an event. See if they'll come out.
All right. Well, one more question before we get out of here. What's one piece of advice that you'd give somebody that's trying to get into car culture in general?
So I've got two. I'm going to cheat a little bit. So
okay.
The first one is going to be, just go for it. Just buy a vehicle and just dive just right in, right? A lot of people question, I don't know if I can do this. And I was there with you. It seems overwhelming, but buy a C10 though. No, but if you like cars, if you like the community, just get you something and go for it and learn as you go. You don't have to know all the answers when you first start. That's part of the fun experience, is learning as you go. Make it your own. But with that being said, once you get a vehicle, have a plan for it, have a vision for it. That's so important. I see so many people that want to build a ride, and they don't have a specific vision, and they start buying random stuff, and then it doesn't work and it doesn't fit what they're trying to do. And that's part of what I want to help with, is to make sure I can help you make your vision become a reality. So just go in head first, have a vision for it, and figure it out. It's fun. So glad that I did, and I've learned a lot along the way and the hard way. Those that have seen me drop the bed video, like that was a heartache. But man, you learn from your mistakes and you build cool stuff. And one day you'll look back and look at a really cool truck or car and realize, man, I can't even believe that I built this. This is so cool. It's so rewarding. And when other people come up and be like, dude, this is awesome. So cool. So go for it, but have a plan.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for coming on.
Yes.
We'll be in contact some more, and make sure y'all get out. Till next time, make sure y'all get out. Drive your shit.
See ya.
Later.